Story: the South African Airways has cancelled selected domestic and international flights in a bid to cut costs and to optimise the airline ahead of an expected 2 billion rand cash injection from National Treasury. To discuss this more, we are now joined via Skype by independent aviation economist Dr. Joachim Vermooten, who joins us via Skype. Good evening, Dr. Vermooten, and welcome to The Full View. Listening into what the unions just said now, the question then is, who is to blame for the state that SAA currently finds itself in?
Well, the unions have a definite gripe with what's going on. Certain promises have been made which hasn't been kept. And the whole problem of SAA really started in 2012. SAA prior to that was actually restructured and was profitable for 3 years. And then a very large expansion took place. And later that was joined with changes in management as well as changes in procurement policies. The major aspect there related to government's mandate, which was changed from a commercial mandate to a development mandate. And under that, many things happened, and, they can't be explained rationally. At least from a financial point of view. Yeah. So I would think the whole question of mandate is the major issue.
Based on that, and just listening to what President Cyril Ramaphosa had to say yesterday after that meeting of the ANC's Lekgotla, the 2-day meeting, the President spoke about how SOEs must have a dual mandate, which is including the commercial mandate as well as the developmental mandate as well. And the question then is, for the business practitioner who's currently there, is it even capable to balance the two interests?
No, it's impossible to balance those interests. There are many economic studies which show that if you have a dual mandate, then only one is actually pursued. And the easiest one is a development mandate where you don't have to comply to any financial disciplines. So to actually operate on a commercial basis is far more tight than operating without any financial limitations. Mm-hmm.
And the question that many people have this evening as well is, what's the true extent of SAA's financial crisis, or where the company finds itself at the moment, considering as well that we're not clear, including the shareholder, I'd like to believe, as well as Parliament, around the finances of SAA?
Yeah, well, they haven't published a number of years' financial statements. They are due to publish the latest one very soon, and that will probably also not happen. So the true accurate picture is not available. Other pictures that have been deducted from presentations and so on indicate that it operates at about 6 billion loss per annum, which is not put through the annual budgetary system. Two ministers get together and they sign a guarantee, and then they get the banks to finance the losses, and ultimately the banks don't want to fund more losses and want their money back, and that's where we are. That differs from the process of the PFMA, the Public Finance Act, where the rest of government and other organisations have to prepare budgets. That's then voted on, and you know what the limitations of financial commitments are. So I think that plays a role in this whole thing.
Just in closing, Dr. Vermooten, the other consideration that some people are probably discussing this evening is, we know as a matter of fact that last year government said that there is equity partners who are interested. The question then is that, do they still remain interested considering where the airline finds itself?
I don't believe that any equity partner will actually invest money and expose losing it in one go if it is not in a position to provide reasonable profits and a proper return on investment. I don't think that there are such investors available in the world.
Does this then mean that you agree with the President when he argues and he speaks about too big to fail? This is now in the case of SAA?
No, I don't think SAA is too big to fail. On the international side, most of the routes have competitors, And in the domestic route, if SAA only operates on the major routes, and there's competition on all of those routes.
Mm-hmm. There's also what we heard now from SAA and the Public Enterprises Ministry as well, that they have been in conversation with the Treasury to release the 2 billion rand that has been guaranteed last year. The question then becomes, over the next period, should passengers who use SAA become used to these sporadic interventions where you'd find that some flights are being cancelled due to financial constraints?
Well, I think you have to remember that SAA operates in business rescue at the moment. That places certain limitations on the business rescue practitioners. They have to operate on a very conservative basis, and hence cash flow and the retention of cash flow is a very important element. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, SAA has been losing about 6 billion a year, and that is just not sustainable. So by end of February, the business practitioners have indicated that they will publish a business rescue plan, and that would indicate what the solutions are for the future. It will probably include a much scaled-down type of activity, more focused, and one has to remember that that has happened to all the major airlines in the United States. Mm-hmm. In those cases, they were all listed and they were able to get capital funding on proper performance or financial performance thereafter. And hence, the industry returned to profitability in 2012 and has been growing in profitability since then.
Dr. Joachim, thank you so much for your time. That is independent aviation economist, Dr. Joachim Vermooten.